Okay, guys, today I think we need to tackle one of the big questions that I get all the time, which is it racist to talk about immigration? And more specifically, is it racist to talk about how you want to control or reduce immigration? Suspenseful pause. No, not necessarily. But is it sometimes racist, depending on whether or not you sort of employ racist tropes? Yes, yes, it can be racist. It can be racist. So let's take a minute and look at some of the differences and see if we can tell apart a racist argument from a non-racist argument. So first of all, an example of an argument that isn't racist. Now, I, to be clear, still think this argument is wrong. It's mistaken on the facts, but it's not necessarily racist at all to say this. And that's that, well, the country's just full. We can't take any more people at all. Full stop. There is not another space for a person to stand. We're like sardines in here. You can't fit another person in here. I don't care who they are. I don't care what's going on. No more people. We're full. Now listen, mate, you're wrong, but there's nothing inherently racist about saying that. You are just misinformed about how countries work, which is fine. It isn't a crime to be wrong about things. I'm more than happy to debate with somebody who thinks like that. In fact, I spend a worrying amount of my sad existence on this planet debating with people who think that way, because it's a narrative that, you know, is very, very straightforward, very easy to understand, very clear. We only have this much, and then we need less people, and then we'll have more stuff. I mean, the key rebuttal there, just to be clear, is that people produce stuff. So it's not only so much stuff to go around. The economy is not one in, one out. Okay, but fine, it's not necessarily racist. Now, I think we need to look at an argument that I think is racist so that we can tell the difference. Some of you might have come across this charmless individual before. His name is Matthew Goodwin, and he is a campaigner against the rights of migrants. And he posted this video on one of his social medias recently.
Need to have a complete gear shift in dramatically lowering migration, investing in assimilation, and then starting to talk about how we are going to encourage people to have more children and support families. Now, that's the third part of that, because we're going to have to also tackle the demographic crisis that's bearing down on Western nations and start doing things like what Hungary and Poland are doing, even though so far the evidence of that is a bit mixed. But we need to be much more ambitious in how we're supporting Western families and encouraging people to have more children.
Did you catch the difference? Now, Goodwin points to a really serious issue here that's like part of the reason why the original argument that we were talking about, the like Britain is just full argument, is also wrong. It's actually Britain has a demographic crisis at the moment. We're getting older and older. And over the last few decades, while our population has been living for longer, which is a wonderful thing, we have not been having enough kids to replace the working age population. What that essentially means is that there are more and more people reaching pensioner age who need to rely on public services, who need more care and deserve that care to be available to them, and who rely on receiving a pension and so on. And that pension is paid for by the taxes largely of people who are of working age and are in work. And those services and that care is provided again by people of working age in work. And Goodwin in this clip acknowledges that demographic crisis, the fact that we actually do desperately need more people. The problem with Goodwin's response to this is to say that we need to make that situation far, far worse, first of all, by drastically reducing immigration. Okay, and then we obviously need to increase the population again very quickly, and we need to do that by having more children. And I actually agree, we do need to work on having more children, but the difference is I'm not limiting that to Western families. Because what's implied here is, of course, a judgment of what kind of person you want, and what kind of person is not the non-Western people. So it's not the case that he thinks we need less people in the country. He, in fact, acknowledges that we need more people in the country. He just doesn't want them to come from certain countries, and the implication very much is that he doesn't want them to have certain skin tones, certain religions, certain cultural backgrounds, certain nationalities. And that, my friend, is a racist dog whistle argument against immigration. That is the difference. Tell me if you spotted it.